Hello guys, today we have a movie called Phobia or Phobia, which is a 2008 Thai horror film in 4 parts, directed by Youngyooth Thongkonthun, Banjong Pisanthanakun, Parkpoom Wongpoom, and Paween Purijitpanya. It is a really nice movie guys, so go watch the full movie without spoilers or enjoy. Pin. A young woman stuck in her apartment for over 3 months due to the injury on her leg which she got after an accident of her taxi, communicates with the outside world via cell phone and text messages. She complains to her boyfriend, Puak, who went on a camping trip in Chiang Mai, that she feels so lonely. One night she gets a text from an unknown number. She tries to ignore it at first, but then after getting more and more texts from the same number she finally replies and starts chatting regularly with the person. One night after knowing the person is a male, Pim gets really excited. Pim decides to call the person the next day, but the call doesn't connect and realizes that he chats with her only at night. The next night he asks for a picture and Pim agrees if he sends her his pic too. Pim then sends her photo, but when it's the guy's turn he just sends her back the same photo and replies that he is right there next to her. Pim gets upset. Pim then, while researching, discovers that the son of Princess Sophia of Verniston died and was buried with a cell phone so he can communicate his mother, or to connect to someone else whenever he feels lonely. Pim right then gets a text from the stranger that he is going past by her house and he's going to visit her. Pim experiences ghostly activities and scared turns off her phone, but it turns right back on. Pim then gets very scared, and even though slowed down by her injury she still runs towards her door as fast as she can. And we see that the ghost is heading upstairs from the automatically turned off lighting effects. Upstairs, Pim's room fully darkened, the ghost then assaults and pushes Pim off the building where she falls to her death. And we see what the stranger meant by when he said that he's passing by. A scene from the past shows the prince from his girlfriend ending the relationship causes him to commit suicide by walking in front of a taxi cab, causing an accident. The same accident that was the cause of Pin's broken leg as she was inside the cab. And I wanna say this guys, that all these stories are connected to one another, and so for now just remember that Pim died with her eyes wide open and her boyfriend, Puak, went on a trip. The next story is about a nerdy student named Gid who comes to school in his cycle. He was bullied by his classmates, and so one day he sees his friends take some drugs, weed, and he complains to the teacher, because of which he gets beaten. The bullies throw his cycle away and also drop him of the moving vehicle by mistake as the bully lost his grip from him as his shirt got torn. The next day one of the girls of the group gets worried for what they had done, and one of them remembered that he saw Gid's cycle parked outside but didn't see him anywhere, and just then Gid enters the room with a book on which earlier in the day Gid had performed black magic, which was seen by one of the bullies as the noise disturbed him while he was having his fun. And then the book is read by the girl and she dies right away because of the curse of the book, and Gid also looks at the book by mistake and loses his life by falling of the building. Slowly everyone in the group gets killed one after another in different ways, leaving only the worried girl alive. The girl asks for forgiveness from Gid, but as she said she never harmed him, but Gid didn't show mercy on her as she was always present but remained silent when he got bullied, and as he was going to take her life the police saves her and takes her to the station. At the police station while she was waiting for her parents, she gets confronted by Gid again and she is forced to look at the book, but right at that time she does this crazy move where she gouges out her eyes so that she could avoid looking at the book, and Gid couldn't harm her anymore because of that. And now I would like to enlighten you that Gid cursed his friends with the help of a deadly charm that required the photo of a dead person with his or her eyes open. And you can probably guess who the dead photo is of. This next story is about 4 rafting lovers, A, Ter, Shin, and Puak came for rafting in a lonely jungle in Chiang Mai, and I hope you guys remember the name Puak, haha. At night in the camp, all of them are joking around and telling scary stories, and A tells his friends that if he dies, the person who sleep in the middle will be haunted by him the next night. The next day they all go rafting, and unfortunately their raft flips and they all fall in the river. When they are swimming in the river trying to get to land, A drowns as he went back to save his friend Puak and cannot be located by his friends. The rest are scared and worried for A, but decide to stay and sleep and fight over who gets to sleep in the middle as they are frightened by A's story. That night, A comes back and his friend happy though shocked and worried as there was something wrong with A as he was behaving strange and he had no scars or bruises on him, strange events happening afterwards making his friends suspicious. Shin then goes to P with A and finds A's body. Frightened, they go running in the woods. Two of them climb a tree while the other was running in the woods and dropped his glasses. Later tired of running they confront A's ghost and then the three discover their own bodies and realize that no one had actually survived the raft incident and A was just trying to make them realize the reality but the three were not accepting the truth until they finally saw their own bodies. From this story we see that Puak was Pin's boyfriend from the first story who had gone to the trip and now I would like you to keep the name, Ter in your mind for the last story. The last story is about a flight attendant who is secretly having an affair with Prince Albert of Verniston. One day she is ordered to go aboard an airliner on a charter flight for Princess Sophia, the wife of the prince. At the plane she come to know that her fellow stewardess, Tui, is unable to attend the flight as her brother, Ter had been found drowned in Chiang Mai. Hope you remember who he is. In the flight the queen notices the ring on the attendant being the same as hers. The queen already knows about the affair as she has photos of the two but she doesn't say anything and just acts rude, arrogant, and continuously annoying the attendant. The queen denied eating all the high-level resources and asked for the normal resources which had prawns in them and the queen was allergic to it, but forced to hurry the attendant just separates the prawns and serves the dish the queen which later causes an allergic reaction and the queen later dies in her hotel room. The next day the news of the death is seen on the news and after the royal house of Verniston requests that her corpse be sent back immediately for cremation. The attendant is required to remain on the plane and escort the body, the only passenger for the return flight. In the flight the attendant starts facing ghostly activities like, when the body flops out of the seat and starts approaching her. The attendant gets very scared as eventually the body disappears from its seat the attendant and tries to call the captain for help. The captain ignores all what was happening to her, thinking the attendant is going insane locks her hands up. And now the attendant in that situation feeling helpless, she starts crying as she is seated directly in front of the queen's body. Finally when the plane lands the attendant is found kneeled down bowing the queen but her head twisted. Hope you guys enjoyed the movie. I would still recommend you watching the movies as a whole, before watching my vids, as these movies are fun to watch with friends. And sorry for my mistakes, as I am not that good in English.